Episode 4 of it, Welcome to Derry, delivers the long-awaited deep dive into Pennywise's true nature, an exploration fans have speculated about for decades, ever since Stephen King hinted that the creature is far older and stranger than any earthly monster. This chapter of the prequel series unfolds through a blend of tense interrogation, psychic exploration, and haunting tribal memory, revealing not only where Pennywise lives but also the terrifying reason why it remains trapped in Derry. Through Daniel's ancestral recollections, coaxed out by Dick Halloran's Shining, the episode reconstructs a cosmic origin story stretching millions of years into the past, revealing the entity's weakness, its long coexistence with humans, and the fragile cage keeping it imprisoned. The narrative becomes a chilling blueprint that explains Pennywise's powers, its patterns of feeding, and the catastrophic consequences that await if the military decides to weaponize the creature.
What the hell do you have us chasing?
But Episode 4 does more than simply offer lore. It reframes every event we've seen so far in the series, casting new light on Shaw's motivations, Halloran's growing moral conflict, the significance of the Western Woods, and the ancient promise Daniel's people made to protect the world from the Galoo, Pennywise's ancestral name. If you found this video interesting, please do give us a like and watch the video to the end. That will help us reach to a wider audience on YouTube. And also, don't forget to subscribe for more upcoming videos. Back to the breakdown. General Shaw demanding answers about Pennywise's whereabouts. Nuclear tensions around the globe are boiling, and Shaw has become obsessed with the idea of using the creature as a geopolitical weapon, a deterrent more terrifying than the atomic bomb itself. He believes Daniel's people hold the final pieces of the puzzle, the precise place where Pennywise sleeps, feeds, and renews itself. But Daniel refuses to cooperate, insisting that no matter what is done to him, he will not betray the sacred knowledge passed down through generations. This standoff pushes Shaw to unleash Dick Halloran's psychic gifts as an interrogation tool, forcing Halloran into the morally gray position of using his Shining to navigate another man's memories. Halloran warns that tampering with such ancestral trauma is dangerous, yet he follows orders after Shaw frames the mission as necessary for national security. The resulting psychic journey becomes the backbone of the episode, an emotional, mythic retelling of Pennywise's arrival on Earth, its evolution, and the ancient measures taken to keep it contained. Inside Daniel's mind, Halloran witnesses the earliest chapter of Pennywise's existence, a memory so old it predates human civilization. Daniel's ancestors describe Pennywise not as a simple monster, but as an evil spirit carried to Earth by a falling star. Millions of years before humans emerged, this cosmic entity crash-landed somewhere near what would one day become Derry, embedding itself into the soil and slowly bleeding into the natural world. The episode visualizes this beautifully, an ancient forest bathed in molten light as a meteor tears through the sky, cracking open to reveal the dormant Galoo lurking inside. This moment is crucial because it confirms what Stephen King implied but never fully explained. Pennywise is not supernatural in the traditional sense but extraterrestrial, a being shaped by cosmic forces beyond human comprehension. Long before Derry existed, long before the first humans walked the continent, this creature slumbered beneath the earth, waiting for the right kind of mind, human minds, to exploit, terrify, and feed upon. The episode tightens its focus when Daniel's memory shifts to the first humans who stumbled upon the crash site. These early tribes did not initially understand what they were dealing with, but they recognized two critical truths: the creature fed on fear, and the very star that carried it to Earth also imprisoned it. The star, now shattered, contained a unique material capable of restraining the Galoo. Shards of this extraterrestrial mineral became their most valuable weapon, a kind of cosmic kryptonite that the creature instinctively feared. Daniel describes how his people learned to fashion these shards into daggers, using them to draw boundaries, protect their land, and maintain distance from Pennywise's hunting territory. These scenes directly echo the flashbacks seen in Episode 3, where General Shaw is nearly attacked, only to be spared because the monster was unable to cross the invisible barrier formed by these buried fragments. Now in Episode 4, the show finally explains why. The Galoo is bound by a geometric prison built from the shattered pieces of the very vessel that delivered it to Earth. The memory deepens when Daniel explains how his ancestors adapted to living alongside the Galoo. They did not attempt to destroy it. knowing that killing such a creature might be impossible, but instead created a system of mutual avoidance. They kept out of the western woods, and the Gallu refrained from entering their territory. A fragile balance existed between humans and monster, maintained through knowledge, tradition, and respect for the boundary created by the fallen star. But history, as always, was disrupted by colonization. When settlers arrived, Taniel's people warned them of the danger within the western woods. The settlers ignored all warnings, driven by hunger, arrogance, and the desire to dominate land they did not understand. Their intrusion broke the ancient pact, and the Gallu feasted on their fear, flesh, and ignorance. This feeding frenzy becomes a pivotal turning point in the monster's evolution. Because Pennywise grows stronger the more it feeds, the settlers' terror allowed it to become more powerful, diminishing the effectiveness of a single star-shard dagger. What once kept the Gallu confined with minimal effort now required more drastic measures. The episode then introduces one of the most haunting substories in Taniel's recollection, the tale of Nakani, a young girl who dared to confront the Gallu after it murdered her mother, Sesqui. This part of the episode is devastating and intimate, showing how desperation and grief pushed Nakani to return to the woods, armed with nothing but a single shard. Her bravery reveals new truths about the Gallu, its power to manifest as the worst fears of anyone who enters its territory. This detail directly parallels its behavior in It and Welcome to Derry, a creature that cannot simply attack but must first infect the mind with primal terror. Nakani's journey ultimately leads her to Pennywise's true lair, the cavern where the fallen star rests. Using this knowledge, her people devised a new plan. They buried 13 shards in a circle around the western woods, forming a geometric prison strong enough to restrict the monster's movements. This sacred structure, invisible yet unbreakable, explains why Pennywise's hunting range is so geographically specific, why it rarely leaves the outskirts of Derry, and why Shaw's encounter in episode 3 resulted in the creature shrinking back instead of pursuing him. Taniel then reveals the most dangerous part of his memory, the exact location of the 13 pillars that keep the Gallu trapped. He does not want to share this, but Halloran's Shining exposes the information despite Taniel's resistance. The emotional weight of this moment is crushing. Taniel knows that Shaw plans to use the Gallu as a weapon, not imprison it more tightly. And now that Halloran has unknowingly extracted the knowledge, the military will almost certainly attempt to tear down the ancient safeguards, believing they can control or replicate Pennywise's destructive potential. The episode brilliantly uses this to foreshadow a catastrophic outcome. Pennywise is not a creature that can be aimed at enemies. It is a cosmic predator, driven by hunger, terror, and cycles of emergence. The idea that the military believes they can weaponize such an entity reveals their arrogance, their desperation, and their ignorance of the ancient warnings Taniel's people tried to preserve. The moment Halloran returns to the physical world, viewers recognize the tragic implication. The chain of events set in motion will ultimately lead to the undoing of Derry's fragile containment system. The ancient promise made by Nakani's people, that the Gallu must never be unleashed upon the wider world, is on the verge of being broken. Episode 4 ends on a chilling note. Halloran now possesses the knowledge Shaw wanted, and even though he feels uneasy, the machinery of the military will not stop. Shaw sees Pennywise as a potential shortcut to global dominance, a secret weapon hidden in the woods of Maine. Taniel knows they are making the gravest mistake possible. Halloran senses it too, but his superior will not listen. And for the first time, the series makes it unmistakably clear. The real threat is not only Pennywise, but the humans who believe they can command a cosmic entity older than civilization itself. The season is now positioned to explore the catastrophic breach that will inevitably occur, one that sets the stage for Derry's cursed future, the creature's cyclical killings, and the legend that would one day terrify the Losers Club.